Howdy, I'm Matt, and this quick video we are going to be chatting about the little GeeBee Pylon Racer, which we did live just earlier this evening. Now, I wasn't kidding you that when I said that this would be the first model which I would start building, because I have started building it already. Now, a couple of little challenges which I've been running into. The first one was that you'll see the push rod here for the elevator. Is that I tried pushing it through. There's no hole through the foam. It's got to go on a bit of an angle because you think that you're going to put a servo just in there and you need to be able to push it to the side. Is that I used the blowtorch, which is just there on a hot rod, and just melted a hole like halfway that way, and then poked it through. That worked out really well. Happy days. Then onto the wings themselves. Now, this was set up as a pylon racer, so if I turn it over, you'll see that one wing has got red ink underneath it, and the other one has got a distinctive white, handmade, hand-cut seam down it, where I've been cutting another aileron in there. So, yeah, there's a couple of different ways we could have done this. But the most obvious one would have been putting a servo in the middle, and then gone for like a crab one where it moves one way and one the other way. That would have worked. We would have saved weight, but then we would have ended up a bloody great big hole in the middle of the wing, in the fuselage. I really didn't fancy that at all. So instead what I've done is that I've elected to go for a servo in both sides. Now you'll notice that they are in different positions, and the reason they're in different positions is because they do cross each other inside. The fuselage is just that little bit too thin, and they do overlap by a couple of millimeters, so I've had to offset them. Now I was thinking about this. It's going to make absolutely no difference in the air. It just means that we're going to have a slightly longer control horn, but they're both they'll be matched servos, so that they'll be absolutely fine, in short. So also moving on, I did use the blowtorch and a piece of push rod to just melt out maybe a little bit bigger space there in the fuselage, because we are going to end up with 3 servos in here, and we've also got to get an ESC in there as well somewhere, because there's going to be a 3rd servo on the top of here to move the elevator up and down, and that will need to get sat on there, and the little lid will sit in there somehow. I need to get that on there like that. That will end up sitting in there, obviously down once I've been and cut a little thing out of it. And the other mod, which I've been and done, is probably one of the biggest ones, besides adding in an extra aileron, is that I have, if I pull this apart, excuse me, I'm just using my phone for this, so it's a bit awkward to move the phone and do this in one go. Oh, it's come out the wrong way round. That's really helpful, Matt. You'll notice that there's a carbon fibre strip. That is 3mm carbon fibre strip, which I've set up. It was a little bit tricky just trying to get that. It had to be exactly right. And the screen printing on the actual wings themselves did not exactly match. So I've been here, I've been using the set square to make sure that everything was square on it. And I've got 2 pieces of carbon strip. Now I almost put rod in there, and then it felt too flexible, so I've gone for carbon strip because it will flex like forwards and backwards on the wingtips. So if I hit something, it will give. But then laterally speaking, so up and down, it won't give. So we end up with much stiffer wings. And I've run it, and you'll see on this wing that groove all the way out, right out to the wingtip there. So when the time comes for the glue up, is that number one, because it's such a small model, I've got to be so accurate in what I'm doing just to make sure that both wings are parallel. It's going to be one of those when you get both glued up, and then you get the pins out and you do it by eye, and then you look from the back, you look from the side, you look on the opposite side. You know what I'm trying to say here. It's one of those because it's such a small little model, which is so cute, isn't it? It really is. Yeah, it's just one of those which just needs to be done right. And anyway, I will also give it a coating of E6000 glue along the belly of the model. Now, I'm not doing that just yet because I might need to muck around in the fuselage. I may need to cut it from the bottom. Also, I will run carbon rod down the fuselage, and the reason I'm going to use rod and not strip, so that it's gives it a little bit more rigidity in all angles, whereas strip is very strong in one direction, and I need to put 2 pieces in there, one all the way down and then one on the opposite angle. If I use a thin rod, which that one's too thick. I've got some thinner stuff. I'll put that down there. I think that's 2mm. I think I've got some 1.5mm carbon rod here, and I'll put a piece all the way along the fuselage just to stiffen her up. So yeah, happy days. It's such a little cute model, isn't it? It really did catch me by surprise earlier, and as you may have been able to tell in the live version, I was kind of impressed with it, to say the least. So from myself, Matt, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this episode, and I'll see you again shortly. Cheerios!